Welcome to Enlightened Evolution.
I'm Cay.
And I'm Christina.
We're here to discuss the ebb and flow of our soul's healing and transformation through self-reflection, choosing intentionally, honoring thyself, and following your inner guide.
Thank you for joining this safe space with us.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Enlightened Evolution with Cay and Christina. This week, we are talking about lack mindset or scarcity mindset and how to overcome it. It's definitely something I've had a little experience with, not as much as other things, but it affects a lot of people. And so lack mindset is really, or other people refer to it as scarcity mindset. It's this mental framework where we believe that resources, either money, time, opportunities, love, success, are limited and scarce. And it often creates fear, anxiety, feelings of inadequacy, and then that tends to impact your relationships quite a bit.
Yes. I think it comes from a lot of people just growing up in environments where money's tight.
Mm-hmm.
And the narrative around money is often negative. Hearing phrases like, we can't afford that, you don't need that, we don't have the money for that, money doesn't grow on trees, things like that. It doesn't just disappear when you get older. I know that I heard that quite a bit growing up, and I always had everything that I needed, but it was always in the back of my mind that, like, maybe I barely had it, or who knows if I'll be able to have it again, because it's like, and it wasn't even things that, like, did I need name brand shoes? Like, no, I didn't. But I was made well aware that, like, if I got them, it was like a treat, and they really couldn't afford it. So with my kids, and I feel like there needs to be like a healthy balance as well, because like with my kids, and even with myself, like, I'm really working this year on like budgeting my money better, because I make well enough money for us to be supported and kind of have whatever we want. It's like, well, I deserve that. I do have the money for it. Yes, you can have that. It ain't no thing. You know what I mean? And so I've kind of reversed, flipped that cycle for me and my kids. But then again, it's like, okay, well, I'm not saving and I'm probably not being very responsible. But it came from like being aware that, like, I was always told that I couldn't have this because money was tight. Well, I don't know. I just don't want my kids feeling like that or hearing that all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like when I was a kid, when I was very young, we were poor. Like we were on food stamps. And then once my mom became a nurse, everything changed. And so when we were poor, I didn't know what poor was because everyone around me was poor. So it just was normal.
yeah.
And then when we kind of moved up to middle class, I think as a kid, I did start to realize that, like, because we were still friends with the same people that were still living in poverty. And I realized I do have more than them. And my mom, she liked to spend money. And I mean, not that I was never told no, because I was definitely told no. I didn't get to have those name brand things. And my mom would always say, like, oh, well, you don't need that to fit in. Like, don't worry about what other people think about you. But I was, like you said, always provided for. And I never went without, never went without food. I never went without clothing.
Same, yeah.
And I also had grandparents that spoiled me. So I feel like I always had this sense of there's always the resources. Like it's always going to come to me, whatever I want. But there have been times in my life where I've noticed a lack mindset in like certain areas.
Yeah, and as I've gotten older, I did like really appreciate my parents too, because they're smart with their money. But just hearing these things as a kid and having it kind of embedded in me, I could see how some people could constantly worry about money and worry about how bills are going to be paid, even if they're going to get paid, feeling guilty about spending money on their self, or like indulging and getting things that you want. Like, I don't have that guilt anymore about doing that. I probably need to deprive myself more. Under, you know, some people like, well, I've heard like undercharging for their work and doubting their value. Like
Yeah.
a lot of like construction workers or like handymen will do things for like dirt cheap, and avoiding risks or opportunities and like failure or fear of failing. A lot of that
Yeah.
the lack mindset can manifest into that.
A lot of people may become hoarders too because they feel that
Yes.
they might not ever be able to get those resources again, so they start to hoard resources when they can get a hold of them. I haven't had much experience with that, but I've noticed that actually in my mom now that, and I hope that she's noticing it now. She's cleaning out her house to sell it, like just packed to the walls full of stuff
Mhm.
that she's not seen in 20 plus years, 30 years, who
Is
knows?
she having a hard time getting rid of stuff?
She hasn't expressed it, and I've asked her, like, "Is it hard getting rid of stuff?" And she's like, "Well, it's time." So, I mean, maybe she's at peace with it, but
Mhm.
I can only imagine it would be difficult to get rid of a lifetime's worth of your belongings. And I don't know, if she's gonna put stuff in storage, some things in storage, but a lot of things she's just tossing.
Yeah, the problem I have with like storage units is, what is the purpose of a storage unit? Is it for a temporary thing, or is it because you don't have room for this stuff and you can't let go of it? Like, is she doing this
Yeah,
because like when the time comes when she, it gets older, is this storage unit going to be handed down to you and your brother?
probably. I mean, the issue is they don't have room for it. His house is
Right.
small, and
Yeah.
her stuff's not gonna fit in it. They don't have a basement and stuff like that she could store stuff in. But it's like, are you ever gonna go to the storage unit, and what are you gonna look through your pictures? You're not, probably. But I mean, she sent me pictures the other day. I didn't send these to you. I'd never seen them before. They're when we lived over on the east side of Flint. So I was like 5, 6, 7. I'd never seen them before. It was very I have memories of like those times because it was like a Christmas and different things.
Mm.
But she came across some stuff I had never seen. I used to go through my mom's pictures all the time because I like to look
I
at.
do love the bins in my mom's pictures. She has bins and bins and bins full of pictures.
Mhm. I think those are important to keep to a
Oh,
degree.
yeah.
Keep the meaningful ones, I guess. And then you
Yeah.
don't really know what's meaningful. Like there was a picture of my dad in there when he was young and he was strong and he was like doing a muscle pose and I just instantly I'm gonna cry now. Whew.
Oh,
Yeah, it made me cry.
yeah. Oh, that's precious. Definitely a
I feel like we're
precious
getting off
memory to
topic.
have. I know, we probably are getting off topic. So,
Whew.
I think overcoming a lack mindset, you have to identify your root beliefs and reflect on the messages you heard about money and the resources that you had growing up. Maybe ask yourself, what did my parents or guardians say about money? How do those messages shape my current beliefs? And then try to reframe your mindset, saying things instead of saying things like, I can't afford this, maybe how can I make this work? Or thinking like, maybe there's not going to be enough. There's plenty of opportunities for everyone to have what they want or need, including me. And so I know this may kind of fall in the same category as like manifestation in a way. When you change your mindset
Mhm.
about your abundance, more things flow to you. And
Absolutely. I
so
think that's the biggest thing.
yeah, adopt an abundance mindset. Just, you could visualize it daily. And, I don't know if you have people that have like a spiritual or practice, or they meditate or they pray, and just remind yourself that you are worthy of that, of everything coming to you. And I have this on here, and this is hard for a lot of people, I think, but change your circle of people. And so we've mentioned in the past, like there's certain friendships that we had in the past that didn't really celebrate us.
Mhm.
And there's other friends that are kind of just stuck in their same cycle, and they don't take risks. They're very negative. They're constantly stressing about money, constantly complaining. But I see these people don't change their behavior either. They don't change their spending
Yes.
habits. They don't try to change their ways that they make money. Their mindset around it is very negative, or they are entitled. They're not generous. That was another thing. Practice generosity, even if it's small. Generosity helps you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance. I know that it does make me feel good,
Mhm.
whether it's like helping somebody like literally homeless, like just giving them a couple bucks, or just buying your friend lunch, or you going out and like, have it be on you sometimes, or gift giving, things like that's
Yeah.
one thing I wanna be better
Mhm.
about this year. I know I say it all the time. I was a little bit better this year about sending gifts this year, but I wanna be even better. There's probably somebody every single month that I know that I could send something to for, like, a birthday or something. So, I don't know, I think.
I've noticed too, even not just money, I think that's one of the biggest things we think of with scarcity. But I had a friend that really didn't feel like the opportunity was available for everyone. So she would be very jealous of other people who were doing
Mhm.
well constantly, and that would eat at her. And she would, say negative things about those people. She would say negative things to me anytime, like I was doing something that should be celebrated, she would cut it down. And that's, I truly believe, because of her lack mindset, thinking, oh, because you have this, I can't have it. And so if you have that thought process, if you notice that you see someone doing well and your instant reaction is to say something negative about it,
Like, "Oh, must be
be
nice."
right.
Like,
Be
actually, it was
mindful
really
of
fucking
that.
hard. Right.
Right. And then see that, try to reframe that as an inspiration. So if someone's doing something that you would like to do, see that as an inspiration, because it's not that only that person can do it. If they can do it, you can do it too. Like, see it
Mhm.
that way instead of, oh, well, they've done this, so I can't do it. I mean, we went into this podcast, how many healing and self-development podcasts are out there? A ton. And we didn't go into it with like, "Oh, well, there's already so many, we can't do it." Like, we all have something different to offer, even if it's in the same arena. I'm gonna receive someone's gonna receive a message from us differently than they would somewhere else, and we're here to reach the intended audience that
Yeah.
we were made for. So I think you just have to think of the expansive universe that we live in, and that anything could be possible. And there's more than enough opportunity for all of us. I think I've and I wish I knew like where the origin of this was for me, but since like a young adult, I have lived in a very abundant mindset. Even when I was poor and, like, not gonna be able to pay my rent, and then a random check would show up in the mail of, like, "Oh, here's a refund for blah, blah, blah," something I totally
Mhm.
wasn't expecting, and that has happened so many times in my life, so it's kinda been reaffirming for me, and I guess maybe just by chance, I chose to see those little things of, like, "Oh, something always comes to me when I need it," and then
Absolutely.
it snowballs. It snowballs when you stay in that
Mhm.
mindset of, "I'm always provided for, I always have what I need." You continue to have what you need and continue to see more and more abundance, and that's what I've seen in my life. Do you
Yeah.
feel like there was a point for you, like, coming out of childhood? Did you make a conscious decision to switch your mindset, or did it just kind of happen?
I think for me, it was Well, it was for realizing that my parents were just doing their best, and they grew up differently, but I knew my dad grew up pretty poor, and I don't think my mom just had, like, everything handed to her. So, there was like, they both had to work really hard, so I understood that they wanted us to work hard, and they wanted to show us that, like, this shit really don't grow on trees, you know? And so,
Yeah, and that's an
I
important lesson to learn.
it is, and so but what they taught me when I got older, it was, "I'm still always gonna be here for you." Like, if I called my parents right now for some money, I would have it for whatever I needed it for. So, I'm very grateful. I've developed more of just expressing gratitude for all the resources I have and everything that I do have instead of focusing on the things that I don't have. Or the things that, like, I do wanna do more of that do cost money, or not even cost money, but the things that, like, I've never really had a healthy, successful romantic relationship, and so I do have the ability to manifest an abundance of love coming, my way.
Yeah.
And I do have the ability to, if I want to go on some vacation then that I don't have the money for right now, I will have those resources available to me in the future. And you're right. Like, whenever there was a time where it was like, oh, like, I'm a little, like, short on this right now or short on that right now, it's like it always has worked out and it always does work out. And so when I stay in the mindset
Mhm.
of just being grateful for what I have and have this deep knowing that no matter what, everything is gonna be okay. And it's taken, like, the stress off and the negativity away from just that, I don't know, just the feeling like I'm lacking something. I have more than enough of what I need, that's for sure. I'm gonna actually stop buying a lot of things I think I need this year.
That's what I was thinking of for this year is, like, maybe consume less.
100%. We have these tools like Amazon Prime, okay? They're like, "Oh, you saved $1,500 on delivery fees this year with Amazon Prime." "Oh, did I? Well, how much did I actually spend on Amazon?" If I saved that
Right.
much money on delivery fees, that you're like, "Thank you for bringing that up." Like, you're you're right, I did. But because the membership is also, like, $16 a month, so that on top of everything that I've purchased, I don't even wanna
Yeah.
know. So my goal for next year when I look, um, at I'm sorry. My goal next year when I look, I hope it's my goal is to break that in half. So how about $500 worth of delivery fees or something like that, you know? Or like before
Yeah,
I go on a vacation, I always go shopping before I go on a vacation. That is very
I do
unnecessary.
too.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Mhm.
I'm going to pack a couple things and find some really, like, 1 or 2 outfits while I'm on vacation. That's what I'm gonna do instead because I always shop when I'm on vacation as well. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pack less, shop while I'm on vacation, and then have some, like, nice pieces to bring back with me for those memories.
I like that. And I was forced to do that when I went to Europe and we got robbed and all of our clothes were stolen, so we
That
had to
is
buy
so
all
fucked
new
up.
clothes. But now when I see those clothes in my closet, I'm like, "Oh, I bought that in Italy."
Yeah, yeah.
So I love that. I love having, like, a memory, and it makes me, like, value that piece more because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, like, I have so many memories attached to it." Like, I remember getting
Mhm.
it. I remember one of the things I bought there, I went out at, like, a fair or something. This lady was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your dress. Where did you get it?" And I was like, "Italy." And I just felt so bougie, but I, like, tried to say it like, "Oh, it was at this boutique in Italy, so I don't know, like, I don't have a link
Yeah,
to it or anything." But I was like, "Yeah, that's where I bought it."
I love that.
I don't know. I'm very grateful for the mindset that I have. And I understand when people have always felt like everything doesn't go their way. And I understand how you could get in that continuous mindset of like, nothing's ever going to go my way. I think if you are a person that is in that type of mindset, you really got to kind of skirt and stop yourself, stop that momentum. Go listen to some Abraham Hicks. She's really good at switching you from that mindset into an abundance mindset. I think
I love
she's
Abraham. I
definitely
haven't
influenced
listened to
me.
her in a while. Yes, she has
Yeah.
influenced me too.
I
I
know
love
she
her.
always has this like mantra of like everything's always working out for me. And if you're someone that doesn't truly believe that, that's going to feel fake for you to say. So I think if you stop and say, well, in what ways have things worked out for me? And you start to, practice that gratitude of looking at the
Mhm.
things that actually do work out. Try a different lens for once. Maybe actually physically sit down, pretend like you're taking off the lens of your lack mindset, put on a new lens and say, what can I see around me that has actually worked out for me? What am I doing well? What things are going my way? And start that snowball in a different direction.
Yeah, take an inventory of all these things that made you anxious before that you didn't think was gonna work out, and
Oh,
then
yeah. And they
prove to
worked out.
yourself that it did, yeah.
It worked out. Look at
It
that.
sh it
You
sure
made it through
did.
100% of your hardest days.
That is true.
I'm always
Yes.
scared I'm muting myself. What else do you have for lack mindset? You kind of mentioned removing people or maybe spending less time with people that kind of feed into that. And that's what I have is surrounding yourself with positive influences. And for me, like I did have to remove a friendship. And I was mentioning to you before, I would see like different ways things she would say would get into my head. Like she had this thing about social media and not following people and not liking people's things because you have to reserve your, you know, those people get paid if you like their stuff and share their stuff and follow them. And I'm only reserving it for people that I really believe in. And me, I'm like, if I can simply help someone by liking their video that I actually like, I'm going to do
Mhm.
that. But I like still have that little voice in the back of my head of her of like, reserve your resources. And I'm like, no,
That's so strange.
like,
Yeah,
repost.
so it's like so was she, like, jealous that other people were
Yeah,
successful?
I think
Oh.
so. I think so. So surrounding yourself with more positive people, you have definitely been that in my life.
Aw, you've been that too.
Definitely
Yeah,
my
I feel like we
husband.
encourage each other. I
Mhm.
think and yeah. Yeah, I love that. And definitely
Well, this was
check
a
each other sometimes.
right, yeah,
Do
definitely.
you feel like there's different because I think both of us use retail therapy as a
Mhm.
way to feel better. I notice that I do this mostly in my luteal phase. Do you notice that there's a time when you do this mostly? Because that's like my most depressed state. It's when I want to consume the most. It's when I want to consume the most
Mhm.
junk food. It's when I want to consume, just make myself feel better at any time. And so I think
Mhm.
like this year, because I'm so mindful of that, there's other ways that I'm going to try to make myself feel better than just consuming. Because and I don't know if I do that like subconsciously because I never because my mindset this all year is like, I'm not depriving myself from anything. And anybody that like comes
Right.
my way that wants to deprive me of anything or tells me I don't need that, like I'm not like that's not even going to be something I consider.
Yeah. I think I do more. I mean, I consume constantly though, but I do think I do more in my luteal phase. But I feel like every time I have a day off, I need to go shopping, and that's that's a problem in itself. I mean, I literally do need to go grocery shopping today, but
Yeah.
like we went to dinner last night with Jordan's cousin and this I had this really cute outfit in my head I wanted to wear that I already had, but I didn't have shoes that really went with it. So I had to go pick up my new glasses yesterday and I went and got shoes that went with the outfit. But it's fine.
You had no
It's fine.
shoes for that outfit? Not one pair?
I had one pair that I could wear and they were too small for me. They were ones that
Mm.
my mom gave me and her feet are smaller than me. So I just need to donate that other pair.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
was an interesting outfit. And I'm switching a lot of my wardrobe to more comfort. And so I do have a lot of shoes, but a lot of them are like high heels, pointy toes that I will never wear again. So I just have to
Mhm.
donate them because I'm not going to wear something that's uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah, you can still look cute and sexy and not
Mhm.
feel like shit while you do it. I'm I'm 100%
Absolutely.
for that. I like that. Yeah, and there's a lot of things, I don't know, in my wardrobe that I can mix and match so much more than what I do.
Yeah, I gotta get better. And like I noticed myself yesterday, I was like, what am I gonna wear to dinner? Like I don't have anything to wear in the cold weather. And I was like, You literally have so many shelves in the closet. Certainly you have an outfit."
Yeah.
And I did, and I had one that I was wanting to wear. So
Did you
yeah.
take a picture?
No, I wish I would have. It was really cute too. Now it's some dirty laundry. But it was like a
Mhm.
so I saw this idea of wearing like a satin dress, but then wearing a sweater over top of it.
I
So
was
the dress
just
is more
gonna
of like a
y
skirt.
yes.
Yeah.
That's
And
I
so
was
like I wore
just
this like
saved
crop
something like
sweater.
that. Oh, I love that.
It's so cute. And then I
Yeah.
found my satin dress was like beige, like almost the color of my skin. It was beige. And then I had like this bright coral sweater over top. And so I went and found these like sparkly beige cowboy boots. And I wore those underneath it.
You are
It was
funny.
really cute though.
I bet it was. Does Jordan ever say anything to you about your spending?
No, which I don't know why I was thinking about that because I just have this thing where I feel like I need to, and maybe it's the guilt I feel for being like over consuming, but I feel like I need to like hurry up and bring my package in and unpackage it. He's never said anything to me about spending, which he has nothing to say, right? Like I pay half the bills. I pay all
Mhm.
my own bills. Like you can't say anything to me about my money. But I don't know if he does feel any type of I've never sensed that from him. I think he probably wishes that I would save more because we want to finish our basement, and if I would just stop fucking getting a Sheen delivery every week, then maybe we would have more money to finish our basement.
Yeah. There was a I complimented my manager the other day on, like, her outfit. She's like, "Shein." I said, "I refuse. I refuse to download Temu or Shein on my phone. I'm not doing it." So, I know there's a bunch of cute shit on there. My daughter chose me.
Sorry about that. We got cut off towards the end, but we hope that you all got the message we were trying to send of really just moving into that abundance mindset and leaving that scarcity behind. Thank you for listening this week. If you haven't already, like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Share us with everyone and anyone.
Catch us on YouTube. Thank you. We love you. Namaste.
Namaste.